there, I'm Christine and this is Gemini Stitches. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first part of my Make 9 for 2023 and I've managed to make the first garment on my list, which is the Vetiver blouse by a company called French Navy. And I have loved making this blouse, so much so that I've made 3 of them. Can you believe it? I just kept going. I found more fabric that I wanted to make in the same pattern and ended up with 3 different versions though. So I've got one of them on, and this has been made in a lovely, soft viscose with a bright blue background and then flowers that just look like they've been painted onto it. Absolutely stunning fabric. I bought this fabric a while back as a remnant from a company called Little Miss So-and-so, and I will be popping the link down below so that you can have a look because they do have some really nice fabrics, and this was a remnant that I bought probably about 3 or 4 months ago now. So what did I like about this pattern? I loved the fact that it has princess seams down the sides of the front and the back. So the idea was for me that it was going to be a little bit more fitted and not big and floaty because that wasn't the sort of top that I was looking for. However, I did my measurements and used my bust as the guide, and my bust measurements are 35.5, so I thought, right, then we will go up a size, and I did the size that was suitable for a size 36, which was the 3rd size on the pattern. And when you see my cream check one, and indeed the white one that I've made, I kept them at that size. I made the cream check one first and felt like the neckline was too low and the sleeve wasn't fitting right, it was too baggy, and I just felt like that it was a bit big for me. So I thought about it. The white one has been made as a beach throw on, so I kept the same size because I wanted it to be a little bit floaty and loose, which was fine, and hopefully you'll appreciate that when I show you it. But this one, I wanted it to be a fitted, more fitted top. So I raised the neckline by 1 inch because I felt like it was too low for me. And then I did a narrow shoulder adjustment on the shoulders and tuck those in by about 1 inch. So they now fit nicely where my shoulders are. And I made it in the smallest size that they do, just to see whether that would do it. And luckily it has. It was a risk, but this was just a remnant, so I thought, take the risk. If I'd have spent a lot of money on the fabric, then I'd have done another twirl just to check. And jumping down 2 sizes was a big gamble, but it paid off. So I'll do a little twirl in this one, and then I'll change into the next one, and you can see what you think of that one. So this is the second one. You can see the neckline is quite scooped down compared to the other one, and I prefer it higher. That's just a personal preference, and I think because I've got narrow shoulders as well, it doesn't help. So I bought the expansion pack for the Vetiver blouse, which means you can put long sleeves in it, and also this cute Peter Pan collar as well, which I quite like actually. It's pretty cute. So again, this one's been made as the crop version with the frill. I'm addicted to this frill on the end. I think it just takes this blouse to the next level. So you can see on this one, that my sleeve head is, there's my shoulder and there's the sleeve head. I like it to be on my shoulder, unless it's a purposely drop sleeve, which this pattern isn't. So by downsizing it 2 sizes, which is a huge amount, and doing the shoulder, narrow shoulder adjustment and raising the neck, I've ended up with a blouse in the viscose, which was the third one that I made, that I'm happy with, and I can now follow that pattern through. So this is the next version of the Vetiver blouse that I've made. I've made it with the short sleeves. I've kept it at the size 3 because when I stand up and give you a twirl, you'll see what I've done with this one is I'm only 5 foot tall, so I have to shorten quite a lot every pattern that I make. So the good thing about this was I got this fabric which is quite see-through, more see-through than I thought it was going to be, from a shop called Guthrie and Ghani, which I absolutely love. However, I was a bit disappointed with this because it was more see-through than I thought it was going to be. I know you do take a risk with white, but hey, it's all worked out well, because when I made the Vetiver blouse, I thought, oh, that'd be really nice as a little beach dress or a pool throw-on in that white fabric that's a little bit see-through. I'll get away with it. And because I'm vertically challenged, comes in handy sometimes, I'll just leave it at its normal length, put the frill on, and see if it's going to be long enough, because I only had 1.5 meters of the fabric, so to start trying to make a full-blown beach dress with it, it just wasn't going to work. So that's what I've done, and I'm quite pleased with the outcome. So I'll give you a little twirl. Excuse the milk bottle legs, because obviously at the beginning of March, who's got a suntan? Not me anyway. But I'm going to be brave and I'm going to show you, and then I'll just pop back and have a little chat about pattern details and materials that I've used and where I've got everything from. Wow, that was brave of me. I hope I didn't flash too much of my white milk bottle legs there on you. So, Vetiver blouse, make number 1 of make 9, and 3 of them made as well. I am buzzing about this make 9. We'll see how we get on going through the year. So I just want to tell you before I disappear, a couple of little tips that I used for making the Vetiver blouse, and something that I use with all my blouses or anything that needs buttons, because I have to shorten the pattern by so much. I can't follow the button guides on any of the patterns because obviously they're out of sync. So I use one of these babies, and it is a button guide. I'm going to put a link down below for you if you want to go and have a look at one yourself. I bought it from Amazon, so that's where the link will be, but you don't have to get it from there. So basically, it's like a concertina, and you expand it to where you want your buttons. So say I want this top has 4 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one goes where the bottom button needs to be, and that one goes where the top button should be. And then you just expand it out in between so that that's at the top, and that's at the bottom. Put a little picture up of me when I was doing the viscose one so that you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. So wherever one of these little prongs is, because I have an automatic buttonholer on my machine, I put the prong where the bottom of the buttonhole needs to be if I'm doing a vertical button. If you're doing a horizontal one, it doesn't matter, you're just marking the button. And I just stick a pin in wherever the bottom of the button's going to be for all four. And hey presto, they're all spaced out equally. That saves me so much time you would not believe. This is one of my most used gadgets of 2022. So have a look, girls. If you do a lot of things with buttons on, press studs where they've got to be spaced out, use one of these babies. It'll change your life. Well, not change your life, but change your sewing life, that's for sure. The other thing that I've used, and I do use whenever I'm doing sewing in viscose fabrics or cotton gauze fabrics as well, they have a life of their own. So when it tells you to stay stitch, like around the curve on your neck to stop it stretching out, if you try and do that with viscose or a floaty fabric, it doesn't always work. However, I've discovered this stuff, and it's called, just have to check, forming tape interfacing. Now this is the Prim brand, but I'm sure there are other brands out there. And it replaces your stay stitching. So I'll just try and get up close and then you can see. Come on. Ah, there we go. Can you see that little row? That's line. That's a row of stitching. And that is your stay stitching. And it's been done onto a piece of very fine interfacing. So one side of it has got glue on. So all you do is put the row of stitching closest to your edge and iron it on all the way around. And I will guarantee your neckband won't stretch out. And particularly with viscose, oh my god, no more ripply necklines for me, girls, with this stuff. So if you've not heard of it, the link's below. It will help, I promise, without having to do stay stitching, and it won't stretch your seam out. And it saves a lot of time as well. Who wants to do stay stitching? Just iron this baby on instead. So they're my two gadgets that I've used for my Vetiver blouse. As I said, I went to get it to fit properly. I went down 2 sizes from my normal size measurements, so the measurements must be big. I shortened it because I'm vertically challenged, by God knows how much, because I take a load off. And because I have narrow shoulders, I did a narrow shoulder adjustment, which means the pattern, front and back pattern pieces, find the middle, cut about to just above where your sleeve is, cut a slit, and then you just pull it in on each other by however much you want to adjust it by on the fronts and the back. So mine was about 1 inch because I am very narrow shouldered. So that's it. First of my make 9, whoop whoop, all done and dusted, and I love it. I'm just hoping I enjoy making the other 8 as much. The next one on my list, because I'm going to try and do them in order as well. I'm being a bit OCD about this. So the next one is the Mitchell trousers. Never made them again. It's a fairly new pattern. Flared legs. So I'm not sure how a 5 foot nothing lady is going to look like in them, but we're going to give it a go. I usually wear straight legged or narrow leg trousers, so to go to a wide leg trouser, but they're everywhere. And I just want to join in. So it's the Mitchells next. So hope you'll join me next time. If you want any help or advice on the Vetiver blouse, if you're thinking about buying it or you bought it and you don't understand something on it, then pop me a message below and I'll get back to you. If you've liked this video, give me a like, because that way more people get to see it. That's how the algorithms work on YouTube. And subscribe to my channel so that you can see my journey. And I'll see you next time. Have a lovely sewing day and take care. Bye.